do some sketchy shit. Do
Do
da,
da,
do
do
da.
da. All right.
Oh, get away with it.
Welcome to the Librarius Conclave. I am Sir Johann Gasmask Esquire III. You may call me the Meat Man.
I'm Lionel Johnson, and I like meat.
Oh God.
Would you like a Tau burger, good sir?
Yes.
I'm Saltius, and I think I'm the butcher.
No, you're the
And-
hunter.
Oh, the hunter. Okay, I catch it while it's fresh.
And I'm Alfonso, the guy, the poor person seeing all of this and going, "Why?"
Yes.
So naturally, I point my knife at him and then hold my finger up to my lips.
Space Marines, the overview.
From what I understand, Space Marines are, well, not just from what I understand, but everybody kind of understands. Space Marines are the headliner of Warhammer 40k. I
Yes.
dislike that personally.
They
Poster boys
are
is what
very,
they call them.
yeah, they are very unfortunately the figurehead of the Warhammer 40k's franchise, and I fucking despise that.
Yeah, I get it, but also,
Yeah.
It really undermines the entire rest of the franchise. Like, there's the entire sections of the franchise that people who don't read the books did not know existed until games like Rogue Trader happened and Dark
Yeah.
Tide.
Yeah.
Dark Tide, Rogue Trader.
So, to give a good analogy, in universe, the Space Marines are the scalpel. The Imperial Guard is the sledgehammer. The Space Marines take up comparatively as much space as the edge of a scalpel does on the face of a sledgehammer.
Mhm.
And the fact that they get so much more exposure in the universe compared to the Imperial Guard is fucking criminal.
It's not without purpose.
Right.
They're cool. They are cool, but
It's
they're
more than that,
so
too.
overplayed.
But in universe, culturally, they are myth and legend. So the
Yes.
stories that we get of them that are so big are the equivalent of the
Yeah.
stories that we would get, like Dante's Inferno and shit. Like, in comparison to biblical stories, like their mythology, their entire cultures spring up based on which chapter kicked chaos off that planet.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
But at the same time, in the modern Imperium, you are more likely to see a Sister of Battle shitting on the chest of a Ministorum priest than you are to see a Space Marine.
Yeah, like period.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
even away and apart from things like Grey Knights or any of the other very more specialized parts of the Adeptus Astartes.
Even
just
seeing a
on
singular
their own.
tactical Marine
Yeah.
is a life change, is a once in a several dozen lifetime experience for an entire planet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's normally not a good experience.
Well, no.
Like, if the Marines are there, it means bad things are happening.
Oh, yeah, no. But you very seldom get such threats that the Imperial Guard cannot handle. So, you know.
Yeah, from a statistical standpoint, yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's humanity's real strength. Like, that's the reason we don't need Skaven in 40k. Humanity is Skaven in 40k. Dude,
Oh, yeah.
we breed like rats. That's our strength.
if there was Skaven and they existed in any capacity other than what they do in fantasy, which is living right under the nose of literally every single imperial settlement
Mm-hmm.
in the galaxy, they would be massively outnumbered.
Oh yeah.
Not just by humans, but by orcs, too.
Well,
Yeah.
I would we won't talk about orcs now because I'll go on a 2-hour tangent. Orcs are my boys.
Oh yeah, no. We'll
So,
talk about
have to do
orcs
it
when
orc.
we get to orcs.
Don't make me pull my orc voice out because I will. So what are, like you said, they're the scalpel. Let's, I think, compliment sandwich this, if you don't mind me recommending. There's a lot of negative
I'm
things
back.
to be said. There's a lot of negative things to be said about the Astartes.
Yeah.
Excuse me? What did I just return to?
Calm down,
Bloody.
lion.
So I'd rather talk about some of the good stuff.
Oh
At
yeah,
least the stuff that I know.
yeah.
Fucking
And-
Like, they are the Emperor's avenging angels. They are.
Yes.
If the Primarchs are the saints, these guys are the angels. Like,
Ooh.
they are
Yeah.
the ones running around doing the stuff, saving people, and when all other hope fails and you cannot get a get a Custodes, these guys are the ones that save the problem. They solve the problem.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. They are so cool. I just hate that how overplayed they are. I can't get over that. It's like power armor, bolters, chain swords, power swords,
They took all the
grav
cool stuff.
weapons, melta
Yeah.
missiles. That's all
They
fucking
Raven guarded
awesome.
all of the cool stuff, which
I get what
I
you
already-
mean.
Well, I mean, like the Imperial Guard, they get bolters too. They get heavy
Right.
bolters and they get regular bolters. The Sisters of Battle get bolters and shit, but they're just like, come on, this is
they
a
are
dude.
humanity. But
Hey man,
more.
this is the Space Marine episode, not the Roast of Saltius.
Right.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean,
Take it easy.
just
Come on.
look up. Look at a Devastator Marine
Get off!
wielding literally anything in the Devastator
Oh, so
Marine's
cool.
arsenal, and tell me they're not fucking awesome.
They are.
Mhm.
Though, granted, heavy flamers are kind of cringe.
And I will say, awesome in the original literary context of the word awesome. They inspire awe.
Mhm.
Like, I wish there was media.
It's also
besides
pretty cool
Birdie.
that Devastators, despite being so fucking cool, are literally like the first step out of being a scout to being a proper Astartes.
I thought it was Tactical Marine.
No, Tactical Marine's the final step.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's Devastator, then Jump Assault, and then Tactical.
Yeah. We'll get into that in overview, but yeah. It shows what I know. I know the Space Wolves do it the complete opposite, right? They have
Space Wolves are
scouts.
stupid.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You know what? You and your fucking
Is
kitten
that
brigade
Codex
can get the
Astartes compliant.
No, that's why I love them. They are one of three, they are one of a handful of chapters that is not Codex compliant. And they openly
because of
flaunt it.
tradition today. Because yeah,
Oh.
It is what it is.
The Codex Astartes calls this maneuver.
Steel Rain!
How can I not say I love the Astartes? I rock the Blood Ravens, known for collecting all of the Astartes.
Yeah,
Like-
that's fair.
yoink.
They're so
Wha-
fucked. Predictions for Dawn of War 4, quick tangent.
Are they
Trazen
even...
kidnaps all of the Blood Ravens.
Dawn of War 4, they're actually...
I don't
No,
think
it's
so.
not confirmed remotely. It's probably not going to happen, but you know.
Yeah,
It's-
no,
After
given
how badly
Dawn of
the-
War
yeah.
3 was, given how Dawn of War 3 was received and Company of Heroes 3, yeah, I think that company's kind of on
Yeah,
its last leg.
CA's
The
shafted.
Blood
Anyway.
Ravens break into one of Trazen's vaults.
Oh no.
They steal his collection of Legiones Astartes helmets.
And we see
Wasn't
what
there,
happens
like,
when somebody rings his bell.
Wasn't there an animated thing about? No, they were trying to. They fucked with Trazen. That's what it was. They
Yeah.
were trying to break into his vault, where they kept on looping.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
just saw
something
that.
like that.
That was so good.
Yeah. Hammer and Bolter was cool, but
It was mid.
the Space Marines are the rapid reaction and expeditionary component of the Imperium at large. Like, not even as a military component, but just like as a whole. They will react to appropriate threats. That is their entire being and existence. They will also proactively react to such threats. What was that one orc kingdom? Orctarius or some bullshit?
What? There was an orc kingdom?
Yeah, it's like Rin's World. It was right by Rin's World. I think it was like the Kingdom of Orctarius or some bullshit. One second. And it was a really big collection of orcs. And there were chapters that were dedicated to like have a mission every like couple decades or centuries where they would just drop onto the fucking planet, kill the leader, and fuck off. To keep the orcs.
The Empire of Octarius?
Yes, the Empire of Arctarius.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's near enough of, I think, Ultima Segmentum?
Yeah, it is. But yeah, there were entire chapters whose entire... no, not necessarily their entire existence, but like, they were assigned to every, once whatever fucking time period passes, they would just send a mission in, drop down on the capital of the planet, capital of the Empire, kill the leader and his lieutenants, and then fuck off, just to keep the entire Empire from attacking Ultramar.
Which, reasonable.
Yeah.
You can't... Getting rid of... As... I believe it was it... Who was it that actually worked out how to get rid of orcs? It wasn't Gilliman, was it?
I couldn't tell you.
Because that was before everything.
Before the fall of Cadia or before the heresy?
Before the heresy. I'm talking like the Great Beast.
Oh, yeah, no. Horus was the one that helped kill the Great Beast alongside the Emperor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But we're getting off on it like it's strike by books.
Yeah, that's actually a good segue because the Space Marine chapters, as it stands, are a mere shadow of what they once were during the Great Crusade. Once you had legions of tens, if not hundreds of thousands of Space Marines. After, thanks to one Rowboat Gorilla Man,
Bitch.
yes, there is no longer any Space Marine legions. Technically.
Did you just call Gilliman a bitch?
Yes.
Yeah.
But Gorilla Man, Vulcan should have come back first.
So from an overview standpoint, again, I'm kind of an outsider. I obviously know decent bit about Space Marines because they are the poster boys. They, like you said before, are the scalpel. They're the ones that kind of do the really fine, refined. We're not talking exterminatus or destroying an entire world. We're talking like punching the lights out of whatever needs to be done, and then everything else sort of like operates behind them almost.
Yes, to give a good comparison, they are a scalpel on the end of a hydraulic stick. Like a pneumatic piston that just punches out with great violence to destroy specific parts of the enemy to make them either collapse or make them easier for other Imperial forces to do anything. And
It has to be said, there are exceptions to this.
Fair.
yeah, there's
Crusades.
Crusades, yes. but there's also, they make massive fortifications a la the Imperial Fists. But yeah, they can do some fucking wild shit, and it is safe to say they are probably one of the most proactive and rapid acting forces within the Imperium as a whole, unless you want to talk about like a fucking Arbites executing a homeless man.
Now, the question about that, the question that begs is this, do you think, because of how they're structured, where each chapter, or each, chapter, I believe it is.
Yes.
They have a very high level of autonomy.
Oh, yeah. They do.
And specialization, so they can afford to devote and dedicate their resources laser in on getting a certain task done and being ready to get that task done, and as soon as a problem comes up, it's like you said, hydraulic whack-a-mole, just there it is, boop, like immediately.
Yeah,
it's like a ready to action in D&D. It just happens instantly.
It is an articulated pneumatic hole punch.
Yeah.
And
That's
yes,
a good way to put it.
they can act on chapter or even multi-chapter sized forces, but it's comparatively rare compared to the rest of their actions, where you might have one to a couple squads of Marines acting like on any given mission. Like you might have like a strike cruiser, metered out to go help this one Imperial Guard force, and it's what, like, 10, maybe 20 Marines. And then on the complete other side of, the sector, 50 to 100 Marines might respond.
Right. It actually is a great segue into, I think, structure.
Yes.
A big question is how do they do that? Because I always kind of imagined
it
that they
depends
are
on the chapter. There might be something about it in the Codex Astartes itself, but I haven't. Okay, first of all, it's an entire library of books in canon, so I don't think there's any actual publication we have access to of the Codex Astartes.
Right.
What we do know about the Codex Astartes is how it is supposed to structure Loyalist Space Marines. And also various tactics and even down to like equipment loadouts and your daily training schedule.
Okay. If I recall correctly, one of the big issues that they've been having is that the Codex Astartes was never meant to be law.
Yes.
And
it was
like everything in 40K, it got kind of flanderized.
Of course. So I think we'll touch first on the overall organization laid out by the Codex Astartes. So every chapter is no more than 1,000 Marines, ideally. Each chapter is broken into 10 companies. Each company is 100 Space Marines. And even then, it gives specific instructions on how you're supposed to break these companies down. For instance, the first company is supposed to be the veteran company. That's where you have Terminators, you have veterans, you have...
These are the people that you would call on if you were building a Death Watch, effectively.
The Death Watch is its own thing, and we'll get into that.
But I'm saying that that's where
it's
you
a
would
very
probably
different
pull it.
thing.
The Death Watch is technically its own chapter, but it exceeds, official chapter limitations.
Right. Okay.
To quote the organization chart, at the core of the Codex Astartes is the organization of the chapter. A chapter comprises 10 companies, each company is consisting of 100 Space Marines.
Right.
Veterans, you've got, Captain, Chaplain, Apothecary, Standard Bearer, squads, 20 Terminators, or 10 Veterans. I'm guessing that's because a squad of Terminators is 5 as opposed to 10, whereas a veteran squad would be 10. And then they'll have support in the form of Dreadnoughts, Rhinos, Land Raiders, etc. And I think that's mostly all of the companies. The 2nd through 5th companies are standard battle companies, with 6 squads of tactical, 2 of assault, and 2 of devastator.
Mm-hmm.
They have support from dreadnoughts, rhinos, war bikes, and land raiders. Reserve companies are the 6th through 7th companies. They are typically 10 tactical squads with dreadnoughts, rhinos, land raiders, etc. 8th company is reserve as well, but it focuses more on assault squads. And they've got support from all of their mechanized elements.
Right.
Whereas the 9th company is supposed to be 10 devastators, with 10 squads of devastators purely.
Mm-hmm.
And their support is pretty much just dreadnoughts and rhinos.
Which makes sense.
I don't see where they put the fucking predators, which is a shame, because the predators is
maybe,
yeah.
I would say it may be out of date, but
yeah.
Oh no, it's in Armory, top left.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, they've got Tech
Yeah.
Marines, Servitors, Whirlwinds, Vindicators, Predators, etc.
And the chapter strength, it should also be noted, only counts properly blooded and fully transformed Space Marines. It does not count Scouts.
Yes.
And it does not count Aspirants.
No, I don't think it would count Servitors. Well, no, it wouldn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't count anything other than actual.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't seem like it even counts Dreadnoughts.
I would think not, because some chapters can have like a massive stockpile of Dreadnought sarcophagus.
To be fair,
Iron
there's a reason
Hunts.
for that. Because they can't be active.
Yeah.
On a long-term basis like a Space Marine can.
Nope. All right.
Well, there are, like I said before, there are exceptions.
To
every rule. When it comes to Space Marines, there are exceptions to every single rule.
Well, yeah,
That-
Because they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that is 40k in general.
Yeah.
There was one chapter I heard about that had a dreadnought for a chapter master
Yeah.
for
That's the Red
fucking ever.
I think that's the Red Scorpions, right?
It might be. You might be right.
Red
Because I know they're the ones that are like have a super hard on for the Codex Astartes.
I'd have to look into it. But yeah.
As far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
No, Blood Swords.
Okay.
Blood
Yeah.
Swords, okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Dagon. Venerable Dreadnought, that's a chapter master.
Sweet. Yeah, that is extraordinarily rare. Like even
Yeah.
the most ancient of dreadnoughts, well, especially the most ancient of dreadnoughts, will not be awake for anywhere near like approaching a year, maybe.
Right.
They would be awake for like either, hey, we got this like conundrum we need you to solve, or hey, you're going down to the planet and you're gonna blow some shit up for us, and then you're
Right.
going back to sleep. That's pretty much how it goes.
Iron Hands.
The Iron Hands are fucking weird.
They're literally my second favorite.
That's fair. And then you have like the headquarters staff, master of the chapter, senior officers, administrative staff, and support personnel. I'm guessing the last two would be like serfs, because I don't think Space Marines would ever willingly take part in bureaucracy.
No,
Unless they're Ultramarines.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
They do the tax thing, but it's a bit of a meme, I know. But
And then you have the librarians with the chief librarius, epistolaries, codiciers, and lexiconiums. To my knowledge, that is essentially Space Marine war psychers, Space Marine psychers in general, including maybe like astropaths and navigators, and then like an actual fucking library for like the chapter's history and other stuff they might need a library for. And then, but the last and very least, you have the 10th Company of Scouts. The only company that doesn't have a standard bearer. And yeah. And for composition, it states very plainly squads scouts.
Right.
Meaning they can have as many fucking scouts as you want. Which, you know, if you think about it, would be a pretty bitchin' battle force all on its own compared to, like, Imperial Guard. Because these guys all get... Yeah, they all get carapace armor, stealth cloaks, and access to, like, heavy bolters, plasma guns, and sniper rifles.
And from what I understand, a lot of chapters use their scouts as their recruiting pool.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's their first...
According to the Codex Astartes, that is how it's supposed to go.
Right.
The Scout Company is where the new recruits go before they're elevated to full-blood Space Marines. To go on from that, you will seldom have a chapter that is at full strength.
Well, obviously.
Because they are almost always fighting. And it takes a lot of fucking time to take an aspirant and turn them into a Space Marine. Because some chapters have certain rituals and stuff that you need to go through, as well as certain requirements, like years of service, within the scout companies, before you can ever consider becoming a Space Marine.
And not only that, but you have a less than 10% of surviving the surgery as well.
Right. I was going to say, it's kind of a Fermi paradox situation where you may have this huge recruitment pool, but it's getting winnowed away every stage, going all the way up, and then finally the top of the top of the top of the ones that are picked. It's a constant mill.
It'd be like, you know, Delta Force recruiting out of the Rangers. Only you have to have, like, as standard that the Ranger has to go through getting shot a number of times in battle or otherwise.
Right.
In order to make it.
Recipients.
Yes. They do have fleet elements and shit, but, like,
I was going to ask about that. The battle barges. Because when I imagined a Space Marine chapter, what I imagined is, okay, these dudes have a battle barge, and this is kind of their flying base of operation. They may have a planet that they get tithe of people from.
Well,
but like
there are two types of Space Marine chapters in regard to that. You have spaceborne chapters and you have planetborne chapters.
Okay, so there's a difference.
Yes. Spaceborne chapters have a battle barge or some other ship that could potentially be much bigger.
Right.
That can be that they treat as their chapter monastery. Others, planetborne chapters, have a massive fuck-off fortress.
Okay, I see.
On planet. A good, like, example of, like, dichotomy is you have the Imperial Fists. They're technically based in Terra or Sol, but they're mostly based out of the Phalanx, which is a massive star fortress.
Right.
like pre-imperial, and it is
Yeah,
like
it's huge. It's
a small
big.
moon
yeah.
big.
That's no moon.
That's no moon. That's a mobile murder fortress. Ah. And on the opposite end of things, you have the Ultramarines, who have McCragg as their well, not McCragg. They
Phil
have
McCracken.
It's just-
what is it? It's something like
they have an entire like segment of not
It's a
segmentum, but like they have
it
like
is-
a chunk of space. It's like 500
is-
planets.
it is a small segmentum all on its own according to the imperial bureaucracy.
Yeah, they've
It's-
got like the biggest
Yeah.
quote unquote empire that is well. it's-
And so
They have the biggest
technically it's a
technic
subsector.
yeah. They have the biggest pseudo independent territory
Mhm.
that serves the imperium.
Mhm.
Well, the biggest coherent territory. I would argue that the Mechanicus has way more territory.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
It's-
individual forge
Speaking of
worlds.
exceptions to every rule, Gilliman casually just taking his legion and splitting it up among his whole segmentum and then keeping them tied together administratively is 100% not Codex approved.
No,
Oh,
absolutely not. It's
not-
opposite of code. There has
Not
been
the way the
literally,
High
like,
Lords of Terra treat it.
God, what was that one? There's literally a mirror of all of this. God, Badab. It was friggin' Badab. It's literally what Robuth Gilliman and the Ultramarines were doing, except the politics weren't as good.
Yeah.
and they didn't
no-
have a.
Oh yeah, like I think every legion had that protocol where it's like, it's a shit hit the fan button where when you press it, all of your like descendant chapters come running back home to help you.
Because that was that whole. I love how even the Ultramarines, who are supposed to be the ones
Yeah.
championing the Codex, are absolutely, if not breaking the rules, at least towing the line. Where they're saying, well, technically these aren't our chapters; they're other people's chapters. They just live on our planets and pay our pay taxes to us. And if we need their help, we can call them in immediately. Which is a really good friend.
The Imperial Fists and their descendant chapters had something like that. The Last Wall Protocol.
Right.
I'm like 99% sure the Dark Angels have something similar.
Well, the Dark Angels aren't Codex compliant at all. I
No,
know that for a fact,
no,
because
they
they're
aren't.
crusading. Their numbers are not reported. And
No.
anytime that an Inquisitor asks about their numbers, they somehow find their way into the airlock.
Well, it's not the airlock. You can still identify the corpse if they find their way into the airlock. They end up
Right, are we
in corpse starch.
What are we
Yeah,
talking
right.
about now?
We're talking about the Dark Angels and their
Oh
interesting,
yeah, shush.
their interesting relationship with the Inquisition.
I'm not going to
Don't
say, I'm not going to even broach
Don't
the Dark
worry
Angels.
about it.
because there's a guy with a name that starts with a C that we're not going to talk about today.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
That's gonna be your episode, Lion.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
There's a very clear awareness that the organization, even though, like everything, it's supposed to be law, it's treated like a guideline and a plan, and no plan survives contact with the enemy.
Well,
and
here's
about 40K.
it's less that it's like treated like a law, and more that it's like it's a fucking space. Or not even that. It's the fucking Space Marines.
Right.
If they're loyal, don't fucking worry about it.
But even that axiom does have exceptions.
Oh, yeah,
You
no.
know,
There are
plenty of cursed founding members that'll tell you
the war for Badab.
all of it.
Yeah, no, that is pretty much well, no. Towards the end, one of the primary antagonists to the Imperium of the war for Badab was a Space Marine chapter, and it turns out that they were raising their numbers well above 1,000,
Oh yeah, no, that was
and
the
they
whole
were
thing.
charged for it, among other things. But that's for the War for Badab series.
Right, that's its own thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's like it's a special case with Dark Angels also because technically they have successor chapters. However, every single leader of each chapter still answers to Azrael.
Yep.
Right. That the Dark Angels are so complicated, and that's
Oh,
why
yeah,
I like
no.
them. I love.
If you
that.
want a more specific example of someone giving the finger, well, actually, two, of someone giving the finger to the Codex Astartes, I point you to
Nefarious.
the Space
Don't
Wolves,
say it.
the Space
Oh.
Wolves,
Oh.
Oh yeah.
and the Black Templars.
Yeah.
So, to give you some idea, there's like 13 quote-unquote great companies within the Space Wolves chapter. Those can range, as far as I'm aware, anywhere from 50 Space Marines to close to 1,000 Space Marines.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go over and, like, they don't follow the Codex at all. Like,
You could probably almost define each chapter by how they break the Codex.
there's too many chapters.
It's not a
for
bad
that.
thing. I don't think there's any canon chapter anyway, that is 100, like absolutely, completely, purely Codex compliant.
Gilliman himself goes back and goes, "Oh man, why did I fucking write this? This was cringe."
Well, no, it wasn't that he thought it was cringe. It was like, why are you
Originally, it's
following
supposed
this
to be
like
guidebook.
it's a
It's supposed to be law.
religious axiom? It is supposed to be an example, you dumb bastards.
Yeah.
The rubric. So, if anybody's pleased as punch by the way that each chapter has individuated themselves, it's probably Gilliman. He's probably
Yeah.
the most person who's like, you did this
Like,
accidentally.
no, you
and it's
guys
exactly
actually
what I
got the
wanted.
point of this thing, yeah.
You did
Yeah.
exactly what I wanted on accident. That's awesome, but also, oh god, the paperwork.
That poor man catching up on 10,000 years of fucking paperwork, dude.
I do not envy him.
He probably, I mean, I don't remember the exact time frame that it actually happened, but it didn't take him long.
Well,
He
to be
probably
fair,
likes
he's
to.
a programmer.
He probably just, like, got the Cliff Notes version, though.
Yeah.
Like, so for example, each great company is its own mini chapter in the space, like among the Space Wolves. And the way that they do, like, advancement is, so you start out, you're like a fucking, I think it's either you start off a scout or you just start off a fucking tactical marine, and then you go on from there to assault squads and then devastator squads, and
Because they like getting stuck in.
yeah. And, well, the younger ones do. The older ones like to hold back. And and squad size varies even amongst that based on how long you're, like, because you're advanced, like, as squads, by my understanding. As your squad gets older and more experienced, they take more and more casualties. Till you end up with, like, a squad of, like, 2 or 3, like, lone hunters or whatever the fuck. And they're basically just snipers.
That's a very interesting inversion of it, and it kind of makes sense. It actually makes more sense. It reminds me of the Manipool system, or what was the previous, the Triari system in Rome, where it was 3 sets of soldiers. The least experienced were in the front, and then the veterans were in the rear. And the veterans, the whole point was to make sure that nobody if they got flanked, it was just that's adorable. We're the most dangerous people.
Oh, you thought they were dangerous? Here, let me
Yeah.
show you steel. Stab, stab.
Right.
Yep.
From an organizational standpoint, though, so we have this sort of Matryoshka doll of delegation going on, it looks like, where Master of the Chapter is speaking to the captains of each of the companies.
Mhm. Yep.
And I'm guessing that that's kind of how that works. Is that like the chief librarian is speaking to all of the other librarians and then reporting up to the master chapter. So the master chapter's only got about 10, maybe 20 people he has to directly interface and manage with.
Pretty
Is
much,
that
yeah.
about right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is
No.
like it is a very secular command like, well, not secular. What's a good term for it? It is
Atomized? Is it like a part like?
it's a very granular command structure, I want to say,
Okay.
because like as you get
They
down,
also have to fit the chaplaincy in there for the chapters where that applies.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, every chapter has a chaplaincy. Every chapter has an
Right.
apothecary. Every chapter has a librarius. That is part of the Codex Astartes.
Not all chapters comply with that.
Yeah, right.
Well, yeah, but like that's like
It
three
could be
very normal components that almost every single chapter will have.
I can't name names right now, but a few of the Ultramarines
Gross.
split offs were very, very angry with the word bearers, and so they never actually instituted the chaplaincy into their chapters when they split off and refound it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of originalist sentiment in, especially some
Yeah.
of the older ones that have all their history, where they're like,
The
yeah,
ones that
we know
don't
where this book
worship
came from. We're
the
not going to
Emperor
have
as a god generally
Right,
don't
yeah.
have chaplains.
Yeah. Well, I forget. Do the Ultramarine does the Ultramarines chapter itself have a chaplaincy? Like I haven't. I don't remember any like
No,
notable
I-
chaplains. But they're also like the cookie cutter mold of Space
Yeah, they
Marine
do. They do.
chapters,
They
do.
so
Yeah, they
it
have
would make
chaplains.
sense
Yeah,
that
I
they
was gonna
do.
say, I wouldn't be because the chaplain
Yeah,
isn't
remember-
just that. It's kind of, hey, brothers.
It's kind of the
They are a chaplain.
psychologists.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like
I
an
mean, because it's
actual
not
military
not
captain.
every
Ethical
chapter's chaplains do the same
guide.
job.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You got like sanguinary priests, and you have.
Yeah.
I think the rune priest or like chaplain
And
librarian
the
and
chaplaincy existed before it became
before the
related to
codex,
that.
yeah.
But the word bearers
Yeah.
did institute it. They sent
Yeah.
out people in order to put chaplains in every chapter.
You know what it might, you know what it kind of reminds me of is, and I know this is completely separate universe, but the SCP Ethics Committee is what it kind of vibes me with.
yeah,
Where it's
that
like
that
they're
kind of makes
there
sense.
to kind of be like, hey, we're gonna be the voice of maybe not sanity because there's nothing
Well,
sane in the 41st
I
millennium,
would
but,
think less like ethics community and more akin to the officio perfectus of the Imperial Guard.
like a commissar. You think?
Yeah.
Like that kind of vibe, really?
Yeah,
They-
I would say they are.
especially in the more secular chapters.
Yeah,
They would serve more of that role for sure.
I would definitely say they are like in the generalized role. They would be. I would consider them half actual chaplain and priest, and half commissar.
Right.
Because
But probably not like
the-
commissar, like I'm gonna point a gun at you. More like a commissar of like, brother, stand with me, stand. We must stand,
Yeah,
kind of
they,
thing.
I think they also have a job
deal
of
with
shooting
matters of
traitors. Yeah.
Deal with matters of morale is an excellent way of putting it.
like
Yeah.
that is the most generalized term that I know how to put it. They deal with matters of morale.
Yeah.
I really like that.
And I think they also deal with like actual traitors, but I'd have to look
How
deeper
often
into
does that happen though nowadays?
like on an individual level, it'd be rare.
right.
But like as
I mean,
But
yeah.
statistically,
I
mean,
couldn't
in
tell
the
you.
guard,
if we're
Probably
gonna go
more
down the
often,
line,
but-
Well,
we
the
already talked about-
The Imperial Guard don't get hypnotherapy, but that's in recruiting. What's up?
So we've already talked about the master, the chapter master, kind
Mm-hmm.
of, and how they kind of determine things. We've talked about the chaplain. Do we want to talk about the apothecary?
there's not much to them.
Yeah,
particularly.
they are the
They're medical
medics.
experts?
They
They
also
They
deal with the gene seed.
I was about to say
Yeah.
that's a very important thing to talk
Mhm.
about because that's really important.
Oh yeah, it is.
That's
It is the lifeblood of the chapter.
because it's, from what I understand, not impossible to create new gene seed, but it is a resource expenditure that is mind-boggling.
It is it's a negative trending resource expenditure, and there is, and like it's more like in recruiting, as we'll go over like the marine biology and shit in that, but each set of gene seed in a full, like, as it matures like in a fully grown marine, can produce 2 sets of harvestable gene seed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is, there's been entire crusades, from what maybe not crusades, but I know there's entire wars that have been started over literally just gene seed. This is
mostly on the well, yeah, that is the thing. That is one of the driving factors of the Badab War,
right.
And then you get into chaos. If they find any source of space
for it, they can't make any of it.
Yeah, because chaos has corrupted it and it doesn't make new shit. But yeah, they will start entire wars for maybe a few sets of GC.
To the Imperium, the only thing and this is my contention based off my knowledge, please feel free to correct me.
Yeah, go ahead.
Per pound, gene seed is the second most valuable non-unique material or technical object in the entire Imperium. The only thing more valuable is an STC.
I'd put like a Custodes in between the two, but yeah.
Well, I mean per pound. Custodes are pretty heavy.
Yeah.
If you had an entire Custodes worth of gene seed, I'm sure that Gilliman would do the math on that and be like, the Custodes can go out the airlock. I want the gene seed.
Yeah, that's fair.
But like per mass, and in space we always care about mass. That is it cannot be overstated how valuable it is.
More so than even planets.
Oh, yeah,
I would
absolutely.
say.
Oh, absolutely.
Also, since we were talking about like all of the departments of the, I feel I need to bring this up since we're still on organization and stuff. The Black Templars. They are what you would imagine what like a libertarian military would look like. Like from our own world. Because
no, I know exactly what you mean, and I hate the fact that that's kind of correct.
Yeah.
Well, they are based off the Hospitalias, so
yeah,
or Hospitalians, or whatever you want to pronounce it. I actually have a question about Standard Bearer.
What's up?
Okay.
What the hell do they do? Because
they
hold
the flag.
Yeah, they hold the banner of the
standard.
Yeah,
That's
they hold
the
they hold the company banner.
Do the banners? So it's not like another word for a comms guy.
No, it's a standard. It's a battle flag.
Space Marines don't really need comms guys. I don't think.
Well, it's built into their armor.
Well, yeah,
they have everything built into their and all their tech.
I would think like a Space Marine
bearing the honor of that flag through every battle that they go into.
Yeah.
And it is not allowed to fall. He has one job, and he better do it correctly.
It is an interesting dedication of resources.
Yeah. It is
the highest honor in the chapter that you can be bestowed.
Other than maybe like Emperor's Champion.
I was about to pull that out of my ass. I was about to say, well, I don't know about that because Emperor's Champion.
Okay, there's more than just Standard Bearer you can aspire to.
Can your company commander give you Emperor's Champion?
That's a fair point.
Yeah, that's fair.
But your company commander can be like, hey, you tripped. Give that flag to Joe over there. You're done.
Or, I think a captain can recommend someone be advanced to first company, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Which is, veterancy and Terminator.
Terminator armor, which is, again, that is.
It's actually a...
I will nerd out about
plot point for, I believe, the Black Templars in Fall of Cadia. Is really? The battle standard guy did something wrong and he had to give it up, and so he just throws himself into the fight trying to gain
Earn
his
it
armor
back,
back so he
yeah.
can be given back the battle standard.
So it's kind of a carrot. Okay, so I do see the function of it then.
Yeah,
Again, I'm
It's
thinking
the-
of this like
the
as
state.
the emperor as cynically as possible. I'm not a human being. I'm just
The-
a
yeah,
demiurge, and I'm like, why do we have standard bearers? Ah, that's why.
The company standard is also seen as a holy relic of the chapter.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, there's that. What else were you asking before I went back into Black Templars?
No, that was what I was going to ask is what the utility of the standard bearer was.
Yeah.
Because to me that, you know, grim darkness of the 40,000th millennium, there is only war. I'm like, wow, there's a dude waving a flag. That's a lot
Okay,
of money in power armor to wave a flag.
Okay,
and now I
so,
kinda get why.
The Imperial Guard also has standard bearers.
Yeah, but a
Yeah.
standard bearer for an Imperial Guard is like, okay, that's cool. But like,
It's
he doesn't
it's
cost a lot.
usually like one per regiment. But yeah.
Yeah.
Remember
But I now understand it's sort of an
Cassell and
aspirational
Crow's
role.
best friend?
What?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I-
That might
Never
be the
mind.
plot. That might be the plot point I was thinking of actually.
Ah.
What else? Any other questions about organization?
You mentioned that some of the squads are 10 and some of the squads are 5. I know that's reflected in the game. I just realized when I was looking at the organization, the fact that there's more tactical companies, it kind of reflects in the battle companies of 2nd and 5th, having 6 tactical, 2 assault, and 2 devastator.
Yeah.
That kind of creates not an exact parity, but enough where I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because the tactical marines are the most flexible tools of the chapter.
Right.
Not the hardest hitting, but definitely the most.
No, but that's
flexible.
because the tactical is your bog standard, and I hate
It
to
is.
say the word
It is
bog
essentially
standard, the
line infantry.
Yeah. Obviously, there's exceptions, but okay. And then the assault is close, and devastator is range.
Yeah. Well, less ranged and more heavy weapons.
Oh, okay.
Devastators carry las cannons, heavy bolters, plasma cannons, grav cannons. They don't carry missile launchers technically.
Really?
They do carry multi-melters though.
Oh, okay.
They are the heavy weapons experts. Tactical squads get bolters, combat knives, and specialty weapons like plasma guns, meltas, missile launchers.
There's actually
So, for the Terminator armor is power armor taken up to the 11th degree. That said, it's not nearly as flexible or mobile as power armor. You aren't going to see power armor jump packs or anything like that. But you'll see teleporter units and shit.
I mean, Gabriel
Am I-
Angelos can do backflips.
Am I
Fuck
correct
off.
in
That's-
saying that Terminator armor was?
That's
I
canon.
fucking hate that game.
I know.
Canon.
What were you saying, Alf?
Am I correct in saying that Terminator armor wasn't originally designed for combat, or am I thinking of another universe?
Okay, so
Different
way
universe, I
back,
think.
In the
pre-Great
Golden Age, it was kind of just mining equipment.
It was less mining equipment and more like reactor maintenance equipment.
Oh, I
Oh,
might.
yeah.
Oh,
For,
I know
like,
what I'm thinking of.
massive,
I'm thinking
like-
of-
Solar, micro Dyson spheres and shit.
I might be thinking of Imperial Knights.
You might be thinking of Fallout.
No, even power armor in Fallout was
It
originally...
was explicitly military.
Yeah.
I could have swore that.
We can
Oh,
get into
Terminator.
knights in their own... Because you are right, they were originally, utility. But anyway...
Yeah.
Terminator armor, as a concept, started off as heavy duty utility shit to protect for maintenance in hazardous environments, essentially.
And
Reactor
I will
core,
nerd out
yeah.
about Terminator armor for a million years, but so I'm gonna make it
Yeah.
as short as possible. But the one thing I really want to say is I love how it feels like
Stu
a
5 gun.
heavy dive suit or like a heavy
The
like
the
it
the
feels
old
right.
like plate mail dive suits that they had.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And everything about it just sort of
Actually,
from a visual standpoint screams to me that it's heavy armor, and I adore that because it communicates what it needs to perfectly.
Okay, so
As a
there
design.
was a pattern of Terminator armor that looks nothing like what it does today, and it was
Don't you
essentially
dare call it what I think you're about to call it.
I don't
I
it,
think
it was
I have an idea.
essentially repurposed utility
Are you
equipment.
are you thinking of the one that begins with S?
Something or
swear,
other.
Yeah.
The one that we've never seen an image of that everybody thinks is a different thing? Yeah.
One
That's the
sec.
one.
Apparently, allegedly, exo armor
Okay.
was originally developed during Age of Technology.
So,
So,
It is
That
This-
is not. No, it's not. No, it's freaking not. I will die on
that
this
looks
hill.
more like Man
It
of
is-
Iron.
it is the shoulder armor. That's what I call it.
Thank you.
But I love
Yeah,
power
I
armor
put
in
I
general.
put
I
a
love the
picture
Terminator armor
of
'cause it fits
yeah,
with it.
I put a picture of it in
I see
Conclave Chambers.
I see
and
it. I see it.
It is literally the shoulder arm.
I'm just saying, GW has never officially described the visuals of or released Saturnine armor in any capacity, and the big old crescent moon shoulder blade armor that everybody calls Saturnine armor is not Saturnine armor. It's,
Yeah.
I believe you said it earlier, like XO1 or something like that.
Yeah. Going on from that,
That's awesome.
going on from Saturnine, you had cataphract armor. Terminators are the epitome of infantry combat in 40k.
Mhm.
They are maximum infantry combat. I totally agree with you.
Well, for the Imperium,
for the Imperium.
it is even like it is somehow even more shoulder armor than the shoulder armor.
I still like this because you can definitely see the pedigree of this into the standard Terminator or current generation Terminator
and
armor.
you used the Blood Raven's image. I'm gonna grab these images to insert at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cut all the white and shit out, and then just. But yeah.
Racist.
Shut the fuck up. I eat cow, motherfucker. Fight me.
But
No.
I have a question related to the Cataphractii armor actually.
What's up?
Has there ever been a non-third party / Forge World model of Cataphractii armor?
I couldn't
there were
tell you.
loads.
Yeah.
Oh,
There were
wait,
loads.
I'm stupid,
Probably-
because they did the whole
Horus
Horus
Heresy
Heresy
line.
fucking
Yeah,
thing.
it's yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm an
Yeah.
idiot. I'm right.
Small brain. Oh.
Yeah, right. Hey, I have no
And-
brain. I'm a robot.
Anyway, you also have the standard pattern Terminator armor, tactical dreadnought armor, whatever. So you have like three primarily recognizable types of Terminator. You've got
Mhm.
the shoulder armor, you've got Cataphractii, and you've got the standard. Equipment for Terminators, standard is a Storm Bolter and a Power Fist. It is two bolters sandwiched together with a giant fucking drum mag, typically.
Mhm.
Uh,
Which still only should hold like 5 rounds, but we're not gonna talk about that.
yeah.
Hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah, that's about how it goes. You can switch out the Power Fist for any number of things.
Mhm.
For like an assault, an assault Terminator, you can have Thunder Hammers, Lightning Claws, a Power Sword, a Force Sword for Psychers, Chain Fists. Those are.
Just for cool.
I don't know why you would change out a Power Fist for a Chain Fist, but you could.
Is your Kardashan?
Well, Tiberius.
He has a combination of Lightning Claws and Power and Chain Fist.
Which is
Like-
ridiculous.
Lightning Chain Claws, essentially.
It's so
and
ridiculous.
it's yeah,
So
it is
ridiculous.
fucking
Over the
stupid.
top.
It's so
He-
well. It's overkill.
Okay, so yeah, the Tiberius is a space marine, but they took a Samoan to make the space marine.
Yeah. That's absolutely what it's like.
Yeah, we've covered all of the melee weapons. Well, no,
Yeah.
the assault shield, the storm shield, or whatever the fuck.
Right.
It is.
Another.
It's
thing
essentially a
always considered
buckler, or
chapter relevant.
yeah, it's essentially like a buckler or a fucking heater shield, but it's sized for a Terminator, and it's got a power field.
Which
And I
would
think
be so fun.
Yeah, no, I think a tactic that assault marines outfitted with thunder hammers and storm shields have is to slam the thunder hammer on the storm shield
Yeah.
to create a shockwave.
Because canonically, that well, at least in a
Concussive
couple of books,
blast.
when the power weapon hits a storm shield, it does not react happily.
No.
No.
And then that covers melee. We get into ranged weapons, which anyone that's played Deathwing knows about.
Oh
So-
my god, there's so many.
Okay, let's go over the list of things, right? So you've got the Stormbolter, right? You've got cyclonic missile launchers.
Like you do.
You know,
As
and
one does.
it's essentially a 6-shot missile rack sitting on that little hump.
Yeah, think mobile artillery.
Yeah,
on your
it's an MLRS. I think
Yeah,
you
and,
can.
and they're seeking, aren't they? They aren't rockets.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
guided missiles.
Cyclonic,
Yeah.
like cyclone missile launcher. Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yep.
Just like fist-sized, at least fist-sized, airburst missiles with like a kilogram of fucking Moab payload, and it just
Yeah. I think the technical term.
When you
would
start
be
thinking about
thermobaric.
that-
Yeah.
The Terminators start, once you realize what they're equipped with as well as what they actually are, they start to become a they never stop to ask whether they should, they just want to
Very
do
So,
what they should
to
kind of
s-
scenario.
To
like,
clarify, Terminator armor is supposed to be used in tight confines, like boarding a ship or
Mhm.
urban fights.
Mhm.
but also it could 1v1 a Rhino and win.
Well, yeah, but a
True.
Rhino isn't exactly
God, that's
heavily
such a
armored.
mental image.
Yeah. To go on from the cyclonic missile launcher, you also have the assault cannon, which is the minigun. But
Yeah.
like, not even the minigun. It is a full-on 20mm Vulcan gun.
It's so fucking insane.
Yeah.
It's pretty cute.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
also get I think there was something like a fucking shotgun in the Death Watch game.
Yeah, Deathwatch had a lot of weapons that aren't maybe necessarily available to bog standard Terminators.
Yeah, no, it's like
Those
relic
are
weapons.
relics and things.
You can also
Death
have
Watch get a special type of ammunition, don't they?
yeah, they do.
Yeah,
It used to be
Because-
an on tabletop thing, but I think they nerfed it.
Yeah.
Rip.
Um
Because there's also the heavy flamer.
yeah, they've got the
Power-
heavy
Power
flamer.
claws, power fists, chain fists.
We already went over those.
Yeah, we already talked about all
Oh,
those.
Um,
I missed, man.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think pretty much any heavy weapon a Space Marine Devastator can have, a Terminator can have.
Yeah. And
And
the Terminator only needs one hand.
yeah, and
Right.
they have like automated reloading protocols and shit,
Mm.
like equipment on their armor, so they don't have to reload. Typically, if they have like assault cannons and shit, it'll be paired with a power fist or a chain fist or like lightning claws. It won't be like a sword or a fucking hammer. Because
Right.
your job isn't to run up and bonk someone, it's to turn, that squad of dudes down the hall into paste.
That
Yeah,
area
to
over
jump.
there, make it not exist anymore temporarily.
Yes. Do you see
Really
that
cool
grid?
spirit.
Do you see that building? Yes, I don't want to. Space Marines, they have their own hand grenades and shit, but
Right. Yeah, we talked about that in the space. We didn't talk about Space Marine hand grenades. We talked about Imperial Guard hand grenades.
Yeah, they've got. We'll get to that. There can be like special, like there's teleporter equipped Terminators, Cyclone missile launcher Terminators. I think there's a variant that has like special aspects or something, but I might be wrong on that.
No, I think you're
You are
absolutely
correct.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't know the details of it. I just know that because I have a model with it.
Oh, I remember. Now there's also to go with cyclonic missile launchers or cyclone missile launchers.
Mhm.
A Terminator can be equipped in place of, I'm pretty sure it's his Power Fist, a Fire Director.
Oh, so
Like a laser designator for the
yeah,
cyclone
that's
cyclone
super
missiles.
cool.
Yeah.
God, I can imagine.
I don't know why they
there's
wouldn't.
really
Yeah.
like that.
I don't know why they wouldn't put that on the fucking helmet, but
Well, it might be universal. It might be able to direct fire from other things.
perhaps. I'm not too super sure. I'd have to look into that. I don't know if it's like
Imagine how cool
specified.
that would be. Is you're the
'Cause-
Terminator, you're the forward observer Terminator, and you just laze some
Yeah.
Bio Titan, and everything hits it.
Let's move on from Terminators
Mm-hmm.
to their big brothers, Dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
They have
God.
many different variations. Some have variation specific weapons. But your general Dreadnought is going to have, on average, an assault cannon
Mm-hmm.
and a power fist
Mm-hmm.
with an underslung heavy flamer.
Right. You're right. Yeah, I
Um,
always forget about the heavy flamer for some reason.
yeah, it's not like it's whatever. If you're in flamer range, you can very easily close to pummeling range. So
Yeah, because the dreadnoughts are fast too.
they are by
They're not.
Surprisingly. I mean, it
Yeah.
They're
depends. with
surprisingly
variant.
fast. They're not like god fast, but they're surprisingly
Oh,
fast,
yeah.
especially for a weapon of the Imperium, a
yes.
mechanized weapon of the Imperium.
I think you could potentially also swap out the flamer for like a heavy bolter or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I might just be imagining things from my Dawn of War days.
No, you're not.
Okay. It was like a heavy bolter or a storm bolter or something.
Yeah.
Most Dreadnought variants can have like smoke grenade launchers on them too.
Yep.
I
I remember painting those.
Mm-hmm. Keep in mind, I'm talking about like Firstborn original Space Marines. I don't care for the Primaris Marines and their shit. 'Cause it looks
later on.
Yeah, we can
rag on those because I
Yeah.
have,
We can rag on that in the
They're still
conclusion,
defender.
but yeah.
I don't mind them.
Yeah, they like okay. So and Dreadnought weapons are much like Terminator weapons in that pretty much anything a Devastator can have, a Dreadnought can have.
right.
It's just often bigger, except
Mm.
for a few things, like vehicle specific. You've got large like auto cannons.
They have the dual. I think they have the dual las cannon.
They have
as
the
well.
they have the dual las cannon. Is it a dual las cannon? I think it's a dual las cannon.
I'm almost positive it's a dual las. I might be wrong, but I'm almost positive.
I forget the name of it, and I'm too lazy to look it up. But there is a variant, or there is a weapon for a variant of Terminator or Dreadnought that is essentially like 6 or 8 standard bolters
Ironclad.
glued together, essentially in a singular mount. So it's like a triple or quadruple storm bolter, essentially.
Yeah, that's on the Ironclad Dreadnought, I'm fairly
Yeah.
certain.
Can't mention Dreadnoughts without mentioning Bjorn the Fell-Handed, who has a frost cannon and like
That's pretty cool.
like lightning claws, essentially. Yeah, it's weird.
No, my horrible pun. Don't worry about it. Oh, by the way, I did confirm it is a dual last cannon.
Thank you. I think
Yeah,
that about
Bjorn
covers
is-
all of that covers the overview of dreadnoughts.
Right.
We'll save the best vehicles for last. The Rhino and the Razorback, because they're one and the same. One just has a remote weapon system.
Right.
The Rhino, it's a tracked
Bradley.
vehicle. No, it's the M113.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll buy that.
It typically has, I think it pretty much only has Stormbolters, like a pintle-mounted Stormbolter.
Right.
They're relatively heavily armored because it's Space Marine stuff. Everything is built like a shit brick.
Mhm.
It's got like 4 engines and shit like that, but that'll be in its own video.
Yeah.
Like 2 or 4 engines, and they're multi-fuel and all of that fun stuff. There's not really much that's interesting about the Rhino. It is metal box on
And-
tracks.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember
Essentially, yeah.
correctly, the Rhino's really old as a design. Like
It is,
old.
like most things, it is an STC. However, it was probably used as a utility transport
Mm-hmm.
during the Golden Age.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you have the Razorback, which is what would happen if you took like the tow carrier variant of the M113 and then made it so you could swap it out for other weapons.
Right. Some modular
Standard,
weapons.
yeah, standard for the Razorback is twin-linked heavy bolters.
Mhm.
And I think it can do some other stuff, but I'm not too sure.
It can do a couple of other things, but it's
Mhm.
sort of splitting hairs. On,
Yeah,
on
it-
like
Then you get into Vindicators, which is Stug-Chan, essentially. It is a giant fucking mortar sticking out the front of essentially a Rhino, and it usually has a dozer board. Its
Right.
job is to trundle on up to enemy fortifications,
and just
say hi, and then say goodbye.
yeah. The Vindicator its purpose is so very clear by everything about it.
Yeah, its
It's
very
like-
shape makes it clear what it's meant for.
I am the dozer, baby. I
Yeah.
am the dozer. That's all it is. That's all it repeats on
Yeah, it was
on repeat on the
reasonable
box.
until I had to be unreasonable.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's an anti-tank position, and it's tearing apart our Space Marines or our...
or any kind of
Predators, yeah.
heavily emplaced fortified position. It's just like,
Yeah,
okay,
it's
wait.
it's like, oh, there's fortifications here. Vindicator's like, oh boy, do. Boom. Oh, sorry, I had to make that joke. It was...
And it seems like most of their other special vehicles are like centered around Primaris. We could talk about
Well-
the drop pods though.
Well, no,
Ah.
there's more vehicles
Drop
from the
pods are
Firstborn.
so
You have the Whirlwind, which is
Oh, yeah.
MLRS Chan.
The Whirlwind. I totally forgot.
It's
that
one
that's
of
a
their
thing.
like 2 long-range artillery options pre-Primaris. It's, there's like a Mark 1 and Mark 2 variant. The Mark 2 I think has like 2 giant missile. Keep in mind I'm talking about like what I remember from playing Dawn of War, so some of this might not be
Right.
canon. But like the Mark 2 has 2 giant single-shot rocket pods.
Mhm.
And then the Mark 1 is literally just like It's
No,
like twin rocket pods, and it's
the
fucking
whirlwinds
awesome.
are really like. It's one of those things where very clearly, from a company standpoint and from a financial company standpoint,
Yeah.
they wanted to get the most use they could out of the molds for
Yeah.
the Rhino. But in universe, it makes perfect sense that if you have this stable, reliable thing that can normally carry a crapload of heavily armored Space Marines,
Mhm.
totally can just empty that out and put gun in it.
Yeah, no,
Or rocket.
it's
the
it's-
Rhino as a platform for different.
okay.
Yeah,
So
it's almost
is
like it's a chassis that
fantastic.
they're working off of, and it's a really
The,
good idea. Like,
yeah,
ingenious.
the Rhino is a parallel in 40K to the OG M113 because
Yeah,
there were so
which
many
can do
variants of the M113. Yeah,
Yeah.
they had a nuclear missile launcher. We talked about it in the last episode.
Yeah. Oh god.
I don't think they go so far with the Rhino, but you know, you get the point.
Yeah.
Space Marines don't really need nukes. They have spaceships.
No, yeah. Yeah.
If they wanted to lead a city, they just point macro cannons at it. But Whirlwinds, Vindicators. Like I said, best for last. Let's go with the Land Raiders.
The land.
Yeah.
There's so many more variants of the Land Raider than the fucking Rhino, and it pisses me
Yep.
off. Because the Land Raider is a super heavy infantry carrier that can double as a main battle tank.
I love that.
It's got 2 sponson mounted weapons as standard. Those can be, I think they're usually las cannon, like twin linked las cannons.
Yeah, standard Phobos pattern according to this image
Yeah.
has twin link.
They also typically have like twin linked heavy bolters or auto assault cannons
Mhm.
in the prow right above the infantry ramp. There's variants that have MLRS on the back. There's variants with enhanced sensor packages. Those are typically command vehicles. There's variants that have the Ironclad's multi-bolter thing. The like 6-pack of standard bolters that are just glued together.
Jesus.
Yep.
That's that's ridiculous.
They have variants that have twin-linked heavy flamers. And there's also variants that basically just strap Claymore directional mines to the front.
What?
Yeah.
I was not aware of this. What the hell?
I think it's the Crusade pattern. It's got like twin-linked heavy flamers, twin-linked assault cannons, and then it's got like frag mines lining on the on the forward track guards.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
And its whole job is to bust through a fortification wall, spray down the immediate vicinity with promethium, and then shred any infantry beyond that with fucking shrapnel.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
No kill like overkill, I guess.
Oh yeah, no. I think there are variants with like predator turrets on it, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, there is. It's literally just called the Predator.
Yeah. Land cruiser. That's next. Unless there's anything else I'm forgetting about the Land Raider.
I mean, all the aircraft.
Yeah, that's pretty much like the aircraft is covered by the Land Cruiser.
Well, there's the Caestus, there's the Stormhawk.
Well, yeah, but I'm trying to find it. It's the little hover thing.
Oh, that little shit. It's literally called the Land Speeder.
Okay, yeah.
I hate that thing.
There's
It's the least Space Marine thing in the entire Space Marine category. and that's
why?
Primaris.
It's so great.
It's so dumb. It's so
Honestly-
not Space Marine.
Yeah, I mean, even me, a fucking Ravenwing fan, doesn't like it.
Oh, it's
Bro,
so not
it's
Space Marine.
so cute. It's got a pintle mounted heavy bolter. and a chin-mounted assault cannon. I love it. There's also a variant that they use for like actual aircraft purposes instead of like a scout vehicle.
Yeah. The Tempest, I think it is.
Yeah. The land speeder can have like missile launchers and like multi-meltas in place of the assault cannon. Which is why I love it. Because I think it's like you can replace the pintle-mounted heavy bolter and the chin-mounted assault cannon with multi-meltas. I think. And it's so awesome.
I genuinely... The thing is, I just don't like how it looks. It doesn't look Space Marine.
It looks goofy, yes, but like, come on. There's
And
no other
either-
faction that would go
It's
with.
not new.
No.
That's the thing that to be
Yeah.
noted is the land speeder has been a thing for a very long time.
It was so the establishment of the like Tempest was back during the Horus Heresy. So the land
Right.
speeder was around even before that.
Yeah, it was recovered. Land speeders are based on an STC recovered in M31.
Yep.
That is ancient.
It old.
And out of game, even like
Mhm.
in our universe, this was a very old model.
Yeah, it's like one of the
metal
first
model back in the
vehicles.
day.
There's the
Yeah, it was in first edition. Oh, it's ugly though.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Space Marine.
Look at that.
All right, let's see. We have there's the Razorback Rhino. The Rhino Advancer? The fuck?
There's a bunch of really weird variants. I was looking at the Lexiconum during.
Was a variant of the Rhino during the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy. The Advancer had a longer body than the standard Rhino.
It's a
and
stretch limo.
No. It had a longer body than the Rhino and an open roof.
Oh my god, it's just a party bus.
That's
Yeah.
for duck hunting.
Yay!
That's a kayak.
It's the party barge.
It's the party barge. I hate that.
No, I love it because all of the Space Marines can just pop out and shoot at shit.
Just playing Gasolina in the background as they're driving past.
Yeah. Oh no. Here's the picture. Copy image. It's so cute. I love it. It's so
No,
cute.
I think I'm looking at the exact same images. Yeah.
No, not Gasolina. Eurobeat. Or like yeah, Eurobeat. Or like fucking whatever the Russian variant of it is.
Oh, yeah.
Like a Rocka gas mask, if you've ever heard that.
Yeah. I can't get the name of it, but I know what you're talking about.
All right. I'm saving the bikes for last because I really, really like the bikes.
Really?
Yes, I do.
That's
Because
That's
it
fair.
it go fast and it also has an option for heavy weapon.
That's a very interesting preference, but
Yeah.
I get it. If you had said like the land speeder was your favorite, I would.
No.
I'm
I like it because it's fast and a heavy weapon, but it's a
Just play
two-man
elves
thing.
at that, or not?
No.
Eldar.
It's a two-man thing, so it's kind of meh to me. Okay, there's the Kaistus Assault Ram, which basically has a giant melt-a-cannon, so it can melt through armor before slamming into a ship.
It is basically a torpedo that
It's-
you live in, that you ride in.
It's a boarding
Ugh.
torpedo. I wouldn't say it's really a boarding torpedo because it's more independent than a boarding torpedo.
That's fair. Didn't I forget? Didn't Astartes start with them inside of one of those,
Yes.
or was that an assault range?
I think that was actually a boarding torpedo.
Okay.
Yeah. No. It was a Kaistus.
It was a Casus.
Yeah.
They look cool too. They look like
Yeah. There's the Death Watch variant of the Corvus, or not variant, the Death Watch specific Corvus Black Star.
Right. There's a bunch of aircraft like that.
Yeah. One sec. I like it because, well, it's Apache with troop carrying potential.
Yeah.
Look at him. He's so cute.
But it opens in the front and it's all off angle and weird. I don't know.
It's
Dude,
goofy.
If they're hanging out of the hatch like that, that thing would nosedive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still.
I think that actually the second weakest designs for Space Marine models are their aircraft.
Yeah, because everything's just brick with gun.
Yeah, and it's
well, I would say the exception to that rule is the Raven Wing.
Yeah.
right.
There's the Space Marine landing craft, which carries like one sec. Let me. Are large orbital assault vehicles designed to quickly deliver vehicles and troops to a planet's surface within 20 or 30 seconds.
Yeah, because that one, the landing craft is actually not on a model for
No.
40K. That's I think Gothic, isn't it?
Not Gothic. It's for it'd be for like our Apocalypse
it would work
or whatever.
best as a kill team map.
The landing craft? No.
Dude, the scale of that would be how if I had a landing craft, I would be
No,
building
it's
it as a terrain piece for a kill team game.
Okay.
Well, I was more referring to like the Apocalypse rule set. That's what you would use it for.
Oh, all right.
Oh,
Yeah, because
well,
that's
yeah.
like not
Yeah, you can
because
go that
Gothic
way-
is
that
like
route, too.
I think I was thinking of Apocalypse instead of Gothic. Because Gothic is like really, really, really reduced scale. Like,
Yeah.
It's like
It would be big
Open-sized
enough that
different.
if it was 40K scale, you would use it as the map for a game of kill team.
Yeah.
I feel that.
There's the Zephon Interceptor, which was Legiones during the Heresy.
Mm-hmm.
There's the standard Thunderhawk, which is literally hollow brick with wing and gun.
I forget, was the Thunderhawk an originally Games Workshop model or was it a Forge World model?
It was originally GW, I believe, because they produced the metal one.
Oh,
I don't believe Forge World made that. I believe GW did.
You might be right.
I might be wrong. I might have to look that up, but I thought GW did the resin version.
Oh no.
Or I thought Forge World did the resin version. I mean, not GW.
So
I thought
there's
GW did the metal.
Absolutely. No, you're right. You're right. You are right.
there's a variant of the Rhino called the Rhino Primaris. Used by the Space Marines, the Rhino Primaris is equipped with a powerful orbital array that are used to guide bombardments from orbiting warships.
Jesus. That's basically the thing we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Standard.
So cute. Sorry, okay, my primary reaction to Space Marine vehicles, it's so cute. It's because it's like
they look like they should be bigger than they are, but then you
Yeah.
remember that how big Space Marines are,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh wait, no, that's a huge vehicle. It's just the Space Marines are huge too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there's the Rapier Armored Carrier, which is
Isn't that just
so it's a turret with tracks.
Yeah, I was gonna say. There's a couple other ones that are like that.
A potent anti-tank weapon. It mounts a powerful multi-barreled laser cannon, with which it shares its name. Okay. However, the Rapiers have also been seen wielding graviton cannons, quad multi-lasers, quad mortars,
Imagine how, like,
and
rare
quad
a
heavy
graviton cannon would be, and
bolters.
you're gonna stick it on that thing.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about that one.
It's actually kind of cool, let's say. They're so, like, the reason I like them so much is because they're so goofy.
Yeah, it's like a tonk.
It's like a Goliath tracked mine, but you put
It's like
guns
a
on
reverse
it.
treadmill.
Yeah.
A reverse treadmill. Space Marine segue.
Yep.
Yeah.
but
Yeah, it's literally a Space Marine battle segue, and I love it.
I think so. If your favorite is the bikes,
Mm-hmm.
my favorite is drop pods. I think drop
Oh,
pods
yeah,
are
no.
the coolest.
Well, I'd call those a munition before I call them a vehicle.
Well,
What?
Okay, so the drop pod is essentially a hollowed out orbit to surface missile with advanced anti-intercept capabilities.
yeah, that's cool as hell.
It
That's one of the
is.
reasons why I like
And-
Genocidal Organ is because they actually made those for human tech.
Yeah. And I do love those. I like the drop pod because there's variants that are just filled with automated turrets and shit.
Dude, that is what I was just about to say. I was like, dude, not only it falls out of the sky wherever you want it to,
Yeah.
it opens up and a squad of Space Marines rolls out of it, and then out of the top of it, a bunch of heavy cannons pop up to defend those Space
Well,
Marines
no,
because
there's-
that thing is a mobile base.
Well, it's not really mobile because it doesn't move under its own power.
Well,
But anyway,
it's mobile up until it stops moving.
yeah. There's
And
no,
to be
there's
fair,
a
it's totally it's one of those resources where it's like this is
no, there's a variant of the drop pod that instead of carrying a squad, it carries nothing but heavy weapon turrets.
I love that.
Yeah, but like I said, I wouldn't call it a vehicle. I'd call it munitions. It's reusable munitions because you shoot it at the planet.
They're so fun.
Oh yeah, no.
I love them. Also, as like the concept of a gameplay mechanic of
Oh yeah,
you can
deep
be
strike and shit. Yeah.
so cool because you're taking a point at the beginning, you put yourself in a disadvantage that at some point in time you can just be like, no, and just put that shit there.
I might do an armory video on like all of the aircraft and all of this like specific
Oh yeah, no,
like
the aircraft get
vehicle.
really
Well, not just the aircraft, but like all of the specific variants of shit because it's
Oh, yeah.
so fucking much. But
it-
anyway,
it's fun.
I know I said I wouldn't get into Primaris shit,
Oh, here we go.
but the Invader ATV, as an honorable mention, I
Mario
love it.
Kart?
Yes, the Mario Kart.
God, I fucking hate that thing.
I love it so much.
I don't mind the Primaris style, except for that fucking thing.
I love it because
it's
it's
very
so
lame.
goofy.
Oh, my
Okay.
favorite is where the pintle or where the gun is.
Yeah, where the
And it's
turret is.
Brother, I can no longer hear you.
Okay, I am a sucker for open cockpit, fast-moving
Death
buggies,
traps.
essentially. Yeah,
That traps.
yeah. It can also be equipped with a multi-melta or onslaught Gatling cannon. Like I said, rotary cannons and multi-meltas are some of my favorite weapons in 40k.
The one thing I have a problem with the vehicles, specifically the attack bikes and the bikes themselves, is their ground clearance is 0.
Well, yeah, but like they
I
just
get it,
look
it's a model
cool.
and whatever, but I would really love it if they could design
Put more,
a
yeah.
something with ground clearance and an apparent suspension.
All right, so let's go over to the Predators because I really want to get to the bikes. So a Predator is essentially, but not really, it's a light MBT essentially.
Hmm.
I got one last thing to say before I head off, and
What's up?
that is Gene Seed is stored in the balls. Good night.
God damn it.
Damn it! Now I have to leave that in because it's funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Predator is essentially a light NBT. It's got like pintle mounted heavy weapons. Wish that they had
Am I
a
off
better.
base in saying that it's a rhino with
No, you aren't, because now I'm looking at it closer, and it's literally a rhino with
A turret.
heavy weapon sponson mounts and a turret.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which, like I said, that makes perfect sense for how they work in
yep.
having a solid platform and then building up off of it. And outside of it, it's so that you can kit bash. But it's definitely a thing.
They have like the main standard, weapon of the turret is an autocannon, but they also have variants with twin-linked las cannons. No. Well, that's the standard Predator. It's pretty much just autocannon or twin-linked las cannons.
Yeah, and then there's a couple other options. Like,
Yeah.
for specific chapters with their preferred weaponry.
Yeah. One sec. There's also... I swear that's a fucking hunter-killer missile launcher. There's also the Ball Predator, which is BAAL.
Yeah.
Discovered by the Blood Angels. Used by them. The primary is... Oh!
Yeah, it's got a twin link weapon and stuff.
So the primary main turret armament is twin-linked assault cannons or a flamestorm cannon.
Right.
Okay.
Which is a gigantic fucking flamer.
Yeah, and the sponson-mounted weapons are heavy flamers.
Blood Angels, man.
Mm-hmm.
They just like lighting shit on fire. I don't blame them.
Well,
I'm
it's the
surprised this isn't,
Vulcans
like,
that
a
are...
Salamander thing.
Yeah, why did I say Vulcans? But yeah, they also...
The Vulcans.
Yeah,
You playing Star Trek now?
no. I think Predators also have options for pintle-mounted storm bolters.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Then we'll round out the vehicles with the bikes. Alright, so there's 3 primary variants. There's the attack bike, the bike, and the scout bike. The scout bike is for scouts, thus it is smaller and lighter and less armored. It does still have twin-linked bolters. Not storm bolters, twin-linked normal bolters.
Amount of firepower.
Oh yeah, on the handlebars.
I am not a fan of that, but
That's why I like it so much. You can shoot at the enemy while you raise your
Dogfighting
sword.
on the ground.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Well, I think it's more a weapon for like when you're on the charge, because the scout bike isn't really. The scout bike is meant for scouting. That's not the primary purpose of the other bikes.
Right.
So the bike, it's got the twin bolters and. Oh yeah, the squats had a trike. That was fun. Space Marine bike. One sec, there should be like a fucking... Doesn't list the armaments, does it? That
I
make
don't
mad.
think they have specific armaments, do they?
Yeah, no, I'm just seeing the twin bolters, so...
Yeah.
Okay, so for scout bikes, it's got twin-linked bolters or an Astartes grenade launcher, while the rider typically carries a shotgun, bolt pistol, combat knife, frag grenades, and crack grenades.
Not bad.
It almost feels like the scout bikes have more armament than the regular bikes, then.
Yeah, but the regular bikes have a fully blown marine and armor on them, so...
Fair point.
The typical armament of a Codex Space Marine bike is a set of twin bolters mounted on either side of the bike's headlight.
That's still so goofy to me.
Yeah.
Then there's the attack bike, which is a tricycle.
Kinda. Their sturdy construction and wide, thick tires allows the bike to easily smash through rockcrete walls at full speed without harm to either bike or rider. The
I
average
call
bike weighs nigh on a
bullshit.
ton.
I call bullshit on that, but it's such a funny image. It's such a funny image of the Space Marine Kool-Aid manning his way right into.
Right into like a meeting of heretics or something.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh no. So what you use a bike, like a standard Space Marine bike for, is you drive at the enemy firing your twin bolters. You raise your sword, and as you pass, you bring it down, sort of like a cavalry saber.
I can imagine that would maybe work on some stuff.
It would work on a lot of stuff, because you can have a chainsword or a power sword, which can cut through tanks.
Yeah. Okay. The power sword will probably do it. Man.
Uniquely, but also weirdly, the Ravenwing tend to use Corvus pickaxes.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know why.
I suppose it'd be brutal if you're just standing there, and then you hear vroom, something swings past you, and something rips off your buddy's head.
True,
Yeah.
After impaling it on a
definitely
pickaxe.
morale reducer.
So the attack bike, a variant of the bike in the Space Marine attack bike, there is the attack bike, which includes a heavy bolter or multi-melta mounted on an attached sidecar. These heavy weapons, combined with the maneuverability of the assault bike, makes it excellent at rapidly deploying large amounts of heavy firepower to those areas which require it urgently.
Interesting way to put it.
So,
That's certainly a way to put it.
imagine, if you will, a swarm of bad guys with tanks and shit, or like a column of blood pact moving through, right?
All right.
And then you have a bunch of assault bikes that just hit it from the side. You have deleted that section of the column because you have the heavy bolters, which in and of themselves can cut through light armored vehicles. And then you have multi-meltas, which can cut through pretty much anything else.
Can they actually cut through? That's so
Multi-meltas? Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Multi-melt, like, okay, so a melta is an anti-tank weapon. It's short-ranged, and it's like essentially the size and shape of a bolter without a magazine. And what you do is you run up to a tank, and then you shoot it
Yeah.
and
Nice.
delete that section of armor. It's like subatomic thermal agitation or some shit.
Ay,
Yeah, that's
And then a multi-melta is two of them, but bigger.
That's
So
so-
yeah.
genuinely bonkers.
Yeah, that's why I like the attack bikes. You get like a fucking chevron of those going in formation, and you just drive it through the enemy formation. Oh,
And that's all she wrote at that point. Like, what do you, like, how do you even respond to that?
yep. Space Marine. Okay, that's vehicles. And the answer to your question, Elf, is no.
You don't.
Like landmines, maybe, but like I get the feeling that they move too fast for that. Aircraft, probably.
Yeah, aircraft will do it, or just shoot them, I guess.
It's a Space Marine.
Yeah, there's things that can hurt Space Marines.
Well, yeah, but are you gonna swing a heavy bolter around on a Space Marine on an attack bike? These
Good point.
things go super fucking fast.
That's a fair point.
Oh, anyway. That covers the vehicles. We've gone over most of what the Space Marines carry. However, okay, so you got, for close combat, you have battle claws, blades hidden within the Space Marine boots. Chain fist, we've gone over that. It's a fist with a chainsaw on the underside. You have a chain sword. Standard stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You have a Crozius Uncanum, which is a power weapon used by chaplains. It's essentially an Aquila on the end of a stick with a power field. And what you do with it is you run up and you smack someone with a giant blazing golden eagle while screaming about the Emperor.
And they just go bonk. That's
Yeah.
just how that works.
Chaplains are chads like that. Oh, you're chaos. Excuse me. Let me just bonk.
And it really is like that too. It's
Yeah.
just
There's the Eviscerator.
which does
which is-
exactly what it says.
No,
Exactly what it says in the.
Well, yeah, it's a chainsword. A two-handed chainsword.
Oh, is
love
that kind of
thing.
like
I fucking love that thing.
God, I think it's Rogel Dorn's fucking chainsword. That's like
Yeah.
humongous surfboard of
Yes, the one he
chainsword.
used to just absolutely destroy
Yeah.
Alfarius.
Oh, and Alfarius deserved it. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was kinda
Okay,
stupid.
no, I'm not going over that because fuck you and your Primaris bullshit. There's force weapons. Those are for librarians, where they essentially, like... It's essentially a lightsaber, but like a metal sword, if you get what I mean. Like, they focus their psychic bullshit through the sword.
Yeah, and that causes it to cleave
It's-
things.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
power weapon effect, but more
Oh!
fiery.
Oh Jesus!
Are you okay?
Sorry, my dog, my puppy was just about to start eating my shoes.
Oh no.
Or puppy.
Okay,
Little twat.
you have lightning claws, which is Wolverine,
I was gonna say,
essentially.
it's another one
Yeah,
of those that's not what it is on a tin kind of vibes.
yeah,
It-
it's
a power weapon.
yeah, it's a power weapon.
Power weapons are so cool.
Power axe, which is chop.
Yeah.
Power fist, which is smash. Power maul, which is smash. Power sword, which is cut.
Hmm.
A power lance, which is stab.
Now, did we ever explain the pseudo physics around the idea of power weapons, or is it just energy and then
So-
bonk?
My understanding of it is it's essentially a shaped energy field around the weapon that forms like a submolecular blade.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like a monomolecular blade, but like EM particles instead of atoms.
Okay. So yeah,
It-
it's sort of
Yeah.
the portal scalpel kind of vibe.
Yeah, it's hypothetically you could probably split atoms with it, but they don't really show any of that, so we'll just assume not.
I'm sure there's a Necron who figured out how to do that. I have a nuke knife. Fuck off! If I touch you with this, we all die.
No, used by Eversor assassins.
Right.
Kills everyone in the building, runs up to you, raises knife, stabs you, the entire building disappears.
Standard Eversor equipment is just the demon core. No screwdriver.
No, it's the demon core on the end of a flail.
Oh, terrible.
Okay. Dreadnought close combat weapons. The assault drill. Well, yeah. but still.
Oh, we just talked about their standard equipment. Never mind.
Yeah. And some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
The assault drill, which is, you know, those like 3-headed mace type thing looking things.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
that.
you talked about the Centurion.
Maybe.
Eh.
The Centurion, the giant armor that normal Space Marines get in,
Yeah.
and it has those giant drills for weapons.
Oh no,
Yeah.
not
Well,
that thing.
that's the assault centurion. The regular centurion has like heavy weapons.
Oh man, I have opinions about Centurion,
Yeah.
but
I like it. It's like a little teddy bear.
It's funny. It's also not Primaris, which is also even funnier.
Yeah.
Uh,
There's the Dreadnought
wait,
close
is it
combat.
Primaris?
The Centurions are not Primaris, no.
Wow.
Nope.
I did not know that.
Which is good. We've already talked about their quote-unquote Dreadnought close combat weapon, which is essentially just a power fist.
Mm-hmm.
The Ironclad Chain Fist, which is a Dreadnought-sized chain fist. The Seismic Hammer. Let me look into that specifically. The Seismic Hammer is a much more common siege weapon than the Assault Drill, due to the simple fact that it is much less complex weapon. When an Assault Drill is designed to penetrate its target, the Seismic Hammer batters them into pieces. It is also equipped with an underslung multi-melta.
That's... Again, it's one of those things where... I love how ridiculous some of this stuff is, but at the same time, it almost... At least for the Centurion, in my opinion, it's just like, oh my god, why?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
So let me go back. The Brutalis Fist? What? They're used by the Brutalis... whatever. And then there's the Leviathan Siege Drill and Siege Claws, which are, you know...
Exactly
the Incendium Cannon. What? Oh, that's Primaris shit. Never mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You got all kinds of bolt pistols. I love the Assault Bolter, but it's Primaris shit, so I don't really like the Assault Bolter.
Honestly, even if it wasn't Primaris, I don't like it just...
So it's essentially like a fucking... One second, let me... Oh, okay, so it is in essence a miniaturized single-handed version of the Heavy Bolter.
Yeah, and I feel like that's just...
It's anachronistic, but yeah.
And...
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
The one thing I like about it is that it does have a significant magazine. Like the The magazine looks like it actually holds ammunition as opposed to pretends to, like some of the other bolters. But
So apparently the Astartes have a Weber, which is just a net gun.
Oh, that's so dumb.
Yeah.
Leave it to the Harlequins.
They can have those Webers are much more different. These are less lethal.
I mean, the Harlequins could be less lethal if they wanted to.
Not with a Weber. Not with an Eldar Weber, no.
I think...
they can have an auxiliary grenade launcher on their bolter.
Oh, it's an underslung grenade launcher. So they finally added a grenade launcher.
Yeah, pretty much. Bolter or bolt gun. Bolt pistols.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
The bolter and its variants are like quite literally its own thing, because it's
the only difference between a bolter and a las weapon is the fact that a bolter doesn't have a spaceborne variant.
Does it not?
I don't think so. No, they've got Titan grade bolt weapon. Well, no, not Titan.
Why?
Yeah, they've got Titan grade bolt weapons in the form of the Vulcan Mega Bolter, which is two it's two 5-barreled rotary assault bolters.
That's so insane. I feel like at that point you're just like being silly.
Oh yeah.
And that's me as a person who,
yeah,
Eldar. That's still being a little silly.
They have combi weapons, which is a bolter with a special weapon underslung, like a flamer, a plasma gun, a melta gun, a grav gun.
I kind of vibe with the idea of the multi-weapon concept, especially with the Astartes.
Yeah.
But I feel like, again, it's one of the things where they're supposed to be super specialized. let them be super specialized. They don't need to have every single weapon attached to one thing. Like it doesn't.
Well,
need to
no,
be gun,
it's,
knife, gun, knife.
They don't really have a knife gun, I don't think, but it's like it's adding a bit of flexibility to the bolter, so you could have a bit more anti-infantry, or a bit more anti-everything, or a bit more anti-armor, or a bit of singularity.
Right.
They've got flamers, which is, you know,
Yeah.
you've got hand flamer, you've got flamer, and then you have heavy flamer. There's the forge bolter, which is just a specialized bolter for tech marines.
Is there anything weird about it, or is it just
One second, let me look.
specialized?
Type of large bolt weapon mounted on the power armor of a tech marines.
Oh, so it's like on a.
It's the shoulder mounted thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it more now. Grav gun, yeah. Grav guns, they work by you shoot them, and then the mass of that area increases exponentially until the object collapses in on itself.
Yeah, it's so fucking insane.
Yep, I love it.
Terrifying concept. It's like, oh, hello, here, we're gonna throw a Kugel Blitz at your face.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
There are melta weapons, ranging from, again, okay, so barring a few exceptions, there's a melta
like plasma thing, right?
Yeah, barring a few exceptions, every type of weapon from like auto gun to grav gun has a variant that ranges from pistol.
Too tight.
No, to spaceship, barring a few exceptions. The meltas specifically come in Inferno pistol, melta gun, multi-melta, and then anything beyond that. But for Space Marine, it's those three. They also have melta bombs. And to answer your question, a melta is essentially like subatomic thermal agitation. It's not specifically plasma. It's more like directing a nuclear blast.
Yeah.
More like just like nuclear thermal energy, essentially.
Yeah. Because when any of the melta weapons, they're super fucking skittish, from what I understand. And
no, that's plasma weapons.
Oh, okay, I got the two backwards. Got it.
Yeah. Melta weapons are very much like the go-to, like, infantry-born, we need to kill tanks weapon. Or, well,
okay.
You could just say, we need to kill this weapon. Because meltas
like
are
hyper
so
thermite.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Like, they have canisters of, like, charged particles or something that they shoot out. Yeah. It's essentially a thermal particle weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Las Fusil? Oh. What is a Space Marine Eliminator? Okay.
The Space Marine Eliminator? That sounds like like a machine that you put like a naughty Space Marine into.
Okay, no, that's Primaris. That's Primaris. I'm not touching that. There's the Marksman bolt carbines. There's like Stalker bolters and shit.
Yes, the what are they called? The Reasonable Marines or whatever. Their favorite weapon, the long range bolter rifle.
Oh yeah.
You
Plasma.
see those guys?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, cool. I love that.
Plasma cutter. Plasma gun. Okay, so plasma weapons are the unstable ones. And it's your bog standard plasma weapon. The reason they're unstable is because they overheat. And it's not like how it's depicted in the tabletop, where, like, if you have it set to a certain setting, which is overcharge, it'll fucking explode in your face randomly. It's more if you don't manage the weapon's heat, it will vent into your face and vaporize you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, the glowing blue parts of a plasma gun are the cooling coils, essentially.
Yeah, and it's... If you know anything about how black body radiation works, that their glowing blue is...
Yeah, that's fair.
That or it's Cherenkov radiation, which is...
Yeah. The Vengeance grenade launcher? What?
So they do have a good
That
one.
was on the Space Marine game. It was
Oh,
created
yeah.
before that.
I don't think that's...
There's no other reference to it. It was literally just used in the Space Marine game. And that's
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bummer.
They do have wrist-mounted grenade launchers, though.
I'm really surprised, but I guess that the explanation for that is that if you want to have a grenade, just use a bolter. And
Okay,
if you
so-
the grenade isn't big enough, use a bigger bolter.
Well, no, you use an Astartes grade frag grenade at that point.
Right.
This weapon is known to be mounted on the Terminator armor of captains.
Ah, okay.
So Terminators do have grenade launchers.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. The Astarte... We'll get into... oh, yeah. So Devastators do also have autocannons, but they don't tripod mount them. They carry them. Like a rifle.
I love
Yeah.
the idea of that. Just the concept of, like... That gives you a good idea of the scale.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, oh, that's how big and strong these guys are, is that they can heft a literal tripod-mounted machine gun like it's a rifle.
Yep.
Not like it's a heavy weapon, like a rifle.
Yep.
That really, like...
Well, they don't really wield them like bolters, but still.
Well, yeah. But I wish that if I could tell Games Workshop to do anything, it would be to focus more on the scale of things like that.
Yeah.
Not that you're gonna listen to me.
Space or lane speeders have something called the Cerberus launcher, which can launch fragmentation or stun rockets. And it's a little like three shot horizontal cassette of rocket launchers.
Oh god.
Oh, I love it so much.
See, that would be cool if you could bolt it to anything.
Yeah.
I could see that being really useful. Imagine if you had that on like a Terminator, and it's just like, oh, look, that room has things that I don't want to kill, but I also don't want to deal with right now. Thunk, thunk, thunk.
Nope, that's Primaris. Looked cool, but
There's a lot of stuff. Like, I'm surprised how much they added. They must have really been planning the Primaris thing for a really long time.
they have,
They
yeah.
added a lot of stuff.
Conversion beam projector. Oh, this is old school fucking heresy level shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I was looking at some of that stuff.
fuck
There's
is
like
that?
a lot of. I would love to just talk about like heresy technology one time.
Oh yeah, no.
How wacky that stuff
Fires
is.
off.
'Cause
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it
so
is
applied phlebonium. It's so applied phlebonium of just, oh, yeah, no, that works because we say it does. And it's like, oh, all right, fine.
The conversion beamer fires a high intensity energy beam, which transforms matter into pure energy.
Yeah, don't do that. That's a really bad idea. It's
So
the
it's a
nuke knife.
nuke.
It's literally
Yeah.
the nuke knife that we were talking about earlier.
It's the nuke laser.
Yeah, Jesus.
Oh
The heavier
no.
the target, the more violent the explosion.
So recruitment is... It varies by chapter, but overall, you find someone you want, typically genetically compatible with the gene seed.
Mhm.
You train them up real
Young
hard.
and male.
Young and male, yes. Like I said, genetically compatible with the gene seed.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You put them through training that kills some of them, and then you put them through an augmentation process that kills most of them.
Quite a few more.
Yep, that's exactly how I was going to word it.
Uh-huh.
God, the augmentation is so, jeez, it's so.
To
Crazy.
briefly touch on the gene seed, the way they get the gene seed nowadays is you implant it into a Marine.
Mm-hmm.
He grows the progenoid gland, which is what they grow the gene seed from.
Mm-hmm.
Develops, and then they extract it. And I think they do it every like couple decades or so. And then when the Space Marine dies, they just extract the original progenoid gland. And they use
Right.
all of those progenoid glands to grow more gene seed, because it's like multiple sets of organs.
Yeah.
Such.
Why do they have cluster mines as a grenade? Whatever. Anyway, sorry, I'm still on that page. So, yeah. In conclusion,
The Space Marines are the Emperor's Avenging Angels. They are the ultimate expression of the Imperium's technological and human might.
mm-hmm. And I would say they are the vengeance of the primordial god that is the Imperium of Man.